So as I understand it, the world loves SUVs, right? They seem to work better as SUVs, all these cars, they seem to sell better as SUVs, but do you love SUVs? Because this is a car right here that'll actually test your commitment and challenge your position on SUVs. Do they actually make more sense than a normal car? Or will it make you actually, like me, want to go home and rethink your life, like Obi-Wan said?
You want to go home and rethink your life?
I want to go home and rethink my life.
When it was first launched, people were quick to write their headlines. Honda's answer to the Proton X50. That's the funniest one. First of all, it does not compete with the X50. Not really. It's too small. It kind of competes with the Perodua Ativa, yes, but the price gap is pretty wide. No, I think its biggest competitor comes from within Honda itself, the City Hatchback. The WRV starts at just under 90,000 ringgit, but spec for spec, it is 7,000 ringgit pricier than the new 2024 City Hatchback 1.5L non-hybrid RS at 101,000 ringgit. And on paper, WRV is objectively not as good. Welcome to something I call the SUV tax.
But this is the top spec RS, 108,000 ringgit. It better be worth it. Okay, and my questions immediately are, why am I so poor? Who is this actually for? And what does it actually compete against? These questions and more coming up. And by the way, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment all the things that YouTube loves, like the champion you are.
This is the smallest, cutest Honda on sale right now. WRV condenses the company's design language and really shows off how versatile their aesthetic really is. It works at any size. This is the RS, which comes to signify the top rung of variants. It's got more bling, as we can see here, in its grille treatment, and to be honest, I prefer the black trim. It's sportier. The body lines are clean, even athletic, and there are hints of so many different current-gen Hondas in here.
But I still don't know what RS means in the context of Honda. I don't think they know either. It sounds cool, it looks cool as a logo, I think that's all that matters. What else do you get? You get automatic LED headlights and you get sequential turn signals, RS only. And the RS comes with this really nice 17-inch dual-tone wheels riding on Continental UC6 tires. Fun fact, actually, despite being the most sportiest looking, this RS is actually the tallest one because of the upsized wheel and tire package. And I saw one recently with the modulo optional body kit package accessory thing, and it looks really nice. But at the rear end, look, it's a really handsome thing at the rear as well. You get this Civic FE-like taillight arrangement, looks very nice. LEDs, by the way, which at 108,000 ringgit, it better be. The boot is actually really practical. This is where it actually beats out the City Hatchback because this has 380 liters, which is more than the Ativa by 30 liters and more than the X50 by 50 liters. But it does have quite a big load lip. You have to angkat all your barang over here, drop it down. But if you do drop it down, you do get underneath here a full-size spare wheel. But the thing is, if practicality and boot space was really high on your priority list, you should get the City sedan and save some money as well because that has a 519-liter boot. So against the Ativa, which by the way, we actually reviewed the Ativa versus the WRV in a video last year. So if you haven't seen that video, click the link up here. Against the Ativa, this is a more upmarket feeling interior. I remember actually stepping out of that car, which I was driving, into the WRV and feeling like, okay, this is a step above. This is a class above that car. All the materials here feel more together. They feel better selected, more high quality generally. And the RS, if you can't already tell, gets a lot of red trim, okay? All these accents in red on the dashboard over here, on the steering wheel, on the seats. The seats are actually leather and this kind of mesh material, a little bit more body hugging, a bit more grippy, a little bit more sporty looking. And you also get pedal shifters, which you don't get on the other variants. That's why what do you get? It might lose a few points over here, okay? Because we're all used to seeing this floating, even Ativa has it, floating displays for infotainment over here. And this one looks a little bit more traditional, kind of like planted in center over here. But it works really well. It's bright, it's responsive, it runs Android if you didn't already know. And it has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, it's wired, which I'm happy. I'm happy with all that. Storage space, pretty good too. You have a decently sized cubby over here. A lot of space in the glove box. For big bottles, you can actually put one over here. Not really, a little bit. You can have a more shallow bottle. Two over here. On the side pockets, it can fit, just about. My only real gripe with this whole interior is actually these aircon vents. I don't know why they were put in this position. It's like someone blowing in your face like this. So in the back seats, how does Honda do this? How do they extract so much roominess from a seemingly small interior? Look, if you're 6 foot taller than me, you might struggle a little bit with headroom, but I think you'll be okay. Legroom wise, no complaints at all. By the way, this is where I'm sitting. I got plenty of legroom. Comfort wise, really comfortable. The same leatherette and mesh material. Really nice and high quality feeling. Storage space wise, okay? Big bottle over here can go into the side pockets. Yes! No such luck over here, just fine. And no rear air conditioning vents either. And if you want some fresh air, the windows go almost all the way down. But importantly, this brings back to mind again the Honda City Hatchback, because I know for a fact in the city you get more legroom, maybe even more headroom, but definitely more legroom, okay? And importantly, if you want more practicality, you can fold the seats down, but you don't get the City Hatchback's party trick magic seats, okay, which is really, really versatile. In this, you can't really do anything with the seats except fold it down 60-40. And it's not really a flat floor either, although you can kind of like, it's almost flat. So WRV, powered by a 1.5 liter, normally aspirated IV-Tech 4-cylinder petrol engine, 121 PS, 145 Newton meters of torque. And this is really the industry standard for this kind of vehicle. This B segment 1.5 liter, yep, that's pretty much what would power it, okay? Outputs are pretty good, mated to a CVT, the usual formula, okay? And the thing is, I get back to this SUV tax because apparently this isn't as fast as a City Hatchback 1.5V, and you pay 12,000 ringgit extra for the privilege of owning this over the City Hatchback in that spec. Is it really worth it? Okay, first of all, the same engine, the same exact engine, but apparently in this configuration, in the WRV, it is less efficient. The engine is just fine, but for some reason, it has like 0.3 liters per 100 km more fuel consumption than the City Hatchback with the same exact engine. Also, top speed. Okay, top speed in the City Hatchback is 195 kilometers per hour on the website. According to Honda themselves, this WRV is limited, I don't know, limited by aero, by the engine, I have no idea. But on the website it says top speed is 160 kilometers per hour. What am I losing out there? What is it about this car that robs me of the extra 35 kilometers per hour top speed? Also, acceleration. Speaking of that, okay, officially, the City Hatchback is still faster because you have 11 seconds, officially from Honda, 11 seconds from 0 to 100 in this car. But City Hatchback, maybe because it's lighter, maybe because it's more aero efficient or whatever it might be, that takes 10.7 seconds to reach 100 kilometers per hour. So again, you have that slight advantage when you get into the City Hatchback. We've proven that it's faster than the Ativa in a dead start because I famously and disappointingly lost that drag race between the Ativa and the WRV. In that scenario, I was driving the Ativa, so I lost, and I really think I wouldn't have. I thought the Ativa would really pull ahead because of the turbo. It just feels so peppy in normal driving. I guess I would have to, I think maybe the Ativa would win on a rolling start, but the low end torque in this is pretty good. It's pretty much like the City Hatchback or sedan. It's just a bit higher up. It's the same platform and everything, so it's really what you expect in terms of NVH and just general refinement. Interestingly, this WRV doesn't come with the rear parcel shelf. I don't know what's up with that because, first of all, you have more noise intrusion from the boot. All the things that are clacking around at the boot will just kind of like, all that noise will just come into the cabin. And another thing as well with the absence of that parcel shelf is that privacy. If you have stuff in the boot that looks valuable, you got some nosy person looking into your car. If you don't have a dark enough tinting, they can just see what's in your boot. and that will just be more likely to have your car broken into. That's not so great. So you also get a good amount of ADAS systems. The top of the range, WRV, you have Honda sensing, but you also don't have blind spot monitoring for some reason. I guess because they have Honda Lane Watch, which I appreciate. You just, as long as you're turning or merging to the left lane, it's fine. I don't know why they don't have either blind spot monitoring as a standard feature, or if they have Lane Watch, and I agree, Lane Watch is a better system. It's more reassuring to me than having a little thing blip on the side of the mirror over here to tell me if something else is in my blind spot. I like having the camera there to have visibility, to like, oh, that car is coming toward me, it's going that fast, I should be this careful about it. But having it only on one side makes no sense. Besides that, you do have all the Honda sensing stuff, smart city brake support, or something collision mitigation braking system, CMBS or something like that. So what do you call it? AEB? Just call it AEB. They have that, which is great. They also have lane keep assist, which is fine. I keep the AEB stuff on. That's really life-saving, very, very important. But the lane keep stuff, yeah, it's just, if I mess up the lanes in Malaysia aren't very wide. It doesn't have a lot of leeway. So I tend to take the more efficient racing line. Doesn't like that, and it likes to tug at my steering wheel, which I find to be distracting and dangerous, so I turn it off right away. In the city, this is where the WRV really belongs, right? It's a compact little SUV, so you're a little bit more higher up, you have more visibility, you feel a bit more protected and self-aware about what the vehicle's doing, so you can park really easily, or so goes the idea, and you can also maneuver and thread it through traffic really easily as well. And again, I think you're paying a little bit than you should be in that SUV tax, because again, here you have that little bit of advantage going to the City Hatchback. Amazingly, this car has a slightly wider turning radius compared to the City Hatchback. I'm going over this kind of like cobbled material. If you're in Taman Tun, you know what I'm talking about, okay? And it does have a little bit more bounce. Maybe it's the tire pressures, which I verified, by the way, correct tire pressures. And right now, it's fine until you get to some more uneven surfaces, and then it gets a little bit disturbed. And that sense of uneasiness, by the way, it feels like I have too much tire pressure. So should you buy the WRV? Overall, I don't really have anything against the WRV. It is, in isolation, it is a really, really good small SUV. On the other hand, I can't really justify why you would have this over the City Hatchback. What are you paying the extra 12,000 ringgit more in this WRV? You get to tell people that you have an SUV. You get to be a little bit higher up off the ground. That's a flimsy excuse, yes. But that's the only other thing that I can think about that'll make you go no to the City and yes to the WRV RS. I mean, the WRV is a good little SUV, this thing, okay? And I get that options are good, and for a lot of people, this is their perfect little SUV. I get that. But I can't quite square the circle. It's not fair to compare this against the Ativa based on price, fine. Not fair to compare this against the X50 based on size, also fine. But then why this? I maintain that the City Hatchback is its closest rival. The City Hatchback is actually larger dimensionally, it's actually got a bigger interior for rear passengers, it's got magic seats, its engine is a bit more frugal, 5.6 liters to 100 kilometers versus 6.0 in this car. It's faster accelerating, it's got a faster top speed. So again, why are you buying the WRV for? Well, if you want an SUV, yes. If you want a Honda, yes. If you want a Honda SUV that's more compact than a HRV, yes. But those are three reasons, not really great reasons either to buy the WRV over, let's say, the City Hatchback. Am I missing something here? Am I even making sense? You know what? Just tell us in the comments below.